Welcome to a place where hearts unwind, infinite threads that gently bind, love and compassion in every line. Together we rise through space and time.
Welcome back to Infinite Threads. I'm your host, Bob. There's something playful about the universe. Not silly, not careless, playful in the way a master musician is playful, in the way a dancer trusts the rhythm so deeply that movement becomes joy. If you look closely at existence, not with analysis, but with attention, you begin to notice that it doesn't just function, it expresses. There is symmetry that didn't have to be beautiful, but is. There is repetition that could have been rigid, but instead feels alive. There are rhythms that feel less like machinery and more like music. This episode is called The Geometry of Joy, and I want to stay light with this, not shallow, light the way sunlight is light. Weightless but illuminating. We often approach life as if it's a problem to solve, a structure to secure, a system to survive. But what if part of it is meant to be enjoyed? Not consumed, enjoyed. There's a difference, guys. Consumption takes. It takes. Enjoyment participates. Have you ever noticed how certain shapes feel satisfying? A spiral shell in your hand, the curve of a wave folding over itself, the way tree branches divide and divide again, yet never feel chaotic. Even the way your own breath moves in and out, an expansion and return, expansion and return. It isn't random. There is order in it, but not stiff order, living order. And when we recognize it, something in us softens, something smiles internally, because we are not separate from those patterns. Our own laughter moves in rhythm. Our hearts beat in cadence. Music affects us because we are patterned beings. We respond to harmony because harmony mirrors something already within us. Joy, I think, is what happens when we recognize alignment. When something inside us says, yes, that fits. A child spinning in circles doesn't need a reason. A group of friends laughing around a table don't need a philosophical explanation. There's a shared rhythm that forms a synchronizing. Have you ever been in a moment where conversation flows so effortlessly it feels like you're all part of the same current? No one forcing, no one performing, just moving together? That's geometry too. Relational geometry, angles aligning, energy meeting without friction. We rarely think of joy as structured. We think of it as spontaneous, accidental, or lucky. But look closer. Joy spreads in patterns. One smile invites another. One generous act opens space for another. One brave truth makes it safer for someone else to speak. There's a cascading effect when love enters a space fully. It multiplies. Not because people are trying to imitate each other, but because resonance is natural. Strike a tuning fork, and I've said this before, strike a tuning fork in a quiet room, and another tuned to the same pitch will begin to vibrate. We are like that. We resonate. When someone lives openly in love, it vibrates through others. When someone chooses bitterness, that hum spreads too. There is geometry to all of this, not cold mathematics, living alignment. You felt it before. I guarantee it. The way a sunset seems almost arranged. The way certain colors together calm you. The way certain voices soothe you. It's not only aesthetic preference, guys. It's coherence. We talked about it 2-3 episodes before this one. Your system recognizes balance. And here's where the love force enters this conversation again. Love creates coherence, not uniformity, coherence. Uniformity erases difference. Coherence allows difference to move in harmony. Think about an orchestra. If every instrument played the same note at the same time without variation, it would be flat and lifeless. But when each instrument plays its own part in alignment with the others, something extraordinary happens. There is tension and release, contrast and blend, individual expression within collective design. That is joy. Not forced sameness, but shared alignment. And I believe this is why kindness feels good in the body. Not just emotionally, but physically. When you choose patience instead of irritation, something in your chest loosens. When you forgive even quietly, there's a recalibration inside of you. It's as if your internal structure settles back into balance. The geometry of your inner world shifts. We often talk about happiness as if it's dependent on circumstances lining up just right. But joy feels different. Joy feels like participation in something larger, like stepping into a rhythm that was already playing. And when you are aligned with love, even simple movements glow. A cup of coffee tastes richer and a breeze feels more alive. A conversation carries depth that surprises you. It's not because the world changed, because it hasn't. It's because you tuned yourself differently. There's a hidden elegance in existence. Not everything is pleasant, and not everything is easy. I'm not pretending suffering doesn't exist, especially these days, guys. But even in hardship, there are patterns of resilience. People helping each other. Strangers stepping forward. As Mr. Rogers always said, look for the helpers. Communities reorganizing themselves in response to difficulty. The structure bends without breaking. That's geometry too. Adaptive alignment, and I find it deeply hopeful because it means we are not just drifting. We are part of a responsive design. When love is present, systems self-correct more easily. When love is absent, things fragment. You can see it in families, you can see it in friendship, and you can see it in nations. Coherence strengthens. Division destabilizes. This is why people use that against us when they're broken too. It's not complicated, guys. It's structural. And here's the gentle invitation for today. Notice the joy patterns. Take notice. Notice how laughter moves through a room. Notice how gratitude shifts your posture. Notice how generosity doesn't shrink you. It expands you. These are not random emotional blips. They are signs of alignment. When you choose love in a moment that could have gone another way, you're not just being nice. You are participating in the geometry of joy. You are aligning yourself with the deeper pattern of coherence that runs through existence. And the beautiful part is this: you don't have to understand the full design. You only have to lean into what feels harmonized. You only have to notice when something resonates instead of grates. The love force doesn't demand perfection, guys. It invites alignment. Small adjustments, tiny shifts, a softer tone, a slower reaction, a braver kindness, and then suddenly the structure of your day feels very different. Not because everything went smoothly, because it may not have, but because you moved with rhythm instead of resistance. There is something profoundly hopeful about this. It means joy is not rare. It is available wherever alignment is possible. It means you are not waiting for life to arrange itself perfectly before you can feel coherence. You can step into it right here, right now, by choosing to move in harmony with love, instead of against it. There is geometry in your laughter. There is structure in your compassion. And there is pattern in your willingness to stay open. And when you begin to see that, life feels less accidental and more artful, less chaotic and more expressive. The universe does not merely exist anymore. It dances. And when you choose love, you join the dance. That is the geometry of joy, guys. And I love you all very, very, very much. And you know what I need you to do, right? Go out there and pass that on, okay? Later, Gators. Bye-bye.